So here we're today with Paul van Wichen, who is our principal engineer here at Cloud Storage Security, and he is the brains behind Data Defender.
Thank you, Conan.
Of course. And today we want to talk about Mythos, one of the newest and hottest topics in cloud security and cybersecurity. It's certainly one of the most interesting things that have happened in the last few months. But there's a lot of hand-waving, right? Trying to explain what it is, what it does. And so we brought in Paul here to kind of explain to us what it's doing and kind of get rid of and cut down all of the fluff. So what is Mythos, really? Where there's a lot of talk about it ending the world. At its very basic form, what is it?
So Mythos is released by Anthropic. So it's basically another one of their AI models. So if you're familiar with Opus, it's basically the next gen of that. But where they spend a lot of energy is really its ability to analyze complex problems, and then also how it can run autonomously. So if you look at what they have done with it, it is a general model. So a lot of what their focus was how do we make this work for coding, science, things like that. But a side effect of that has been a lot of those gains also apply well to the security world, if you will.
Right. So there's a lot of uses there. And how is that relevant on security? Can you expand on that a little bit more?
So if you go back to the analytics and the autonomous, so what they've, and they've proven this out. So they have the project called Glasswing, where they basically took Mythos, ran it against codebases looking for vulnerabilities. So basically that ability to take a larger piece of work and analyze it and keep track of it and figure out where there are gaps that's like step number one. But where it really became powerful, and I suppose you could say dangerous, is its ability to then take that information or even stitch together disparate pieces of information and create an attack all on its own. So if you look at it from one angle, it's not that it's finding things that a person can't find, but it's the rate it can do that, and then also the fact that it can generate an attack with very little interaction from a human.
Right, right. So you're suggesting it can go into even open source projects that are all out there. They can find the vulnerabilities and it can go and exploit them.
Yeah, so they've published, they actually have some published documentation about what they've been looking at and what things they found. So like OpenBSD, apparently they found the bug that's been lurking in there for about 20 years. So it's obviously no one found it to this point, but it's just the speed at which it can find those things, but then also turn it into a zero-day attack, where it's like now it found it, but I can also turn it into a meaningful attack within hours.
Right. So does this actually help security because it's going to find those vulnerabilities and those exploits? Are attackers going to use this? And what's all of the alarm around this? And how do you think this actually ends up playing out?
I mean, I suppose that's the balance that's hard to strike. So I think there is a risk initially, and I think that's where a lot of the concern is. If released now into the wild, that could be given advantage to attackers, because obviously they're going to find those holes potentially before the company that owns the software or maintainers. Ultimately, if you look at all the other AI models out there, they're all becoming more complex, more capable. It's a matter of time before any of these can do it anyway. So I think what we will see is companies will use it to shore up their software, but there is that interim period where it's like it gives opportunity.
Right, right. So is Mythos actually being used in an attack? Is it giving the blueprint for attack? We talked about shoring up the software, patching defenses, but how does it actually play into the attack itself?
So, I mean, if you look at it's basically an agent, right? So it knows, it's got its knowledge base, if you will, what it was trained on. It's got its behaviors, but it also knows what it can interact with. So it can use tools, it can create its own tools. So if you look at a lot of how it's operating, instead of sometimes even answering the question based on kind of like the neural network, it might create a tool that's more efficient to make the calculation. So it's kind of that whole what it can stitch together that makes it really powerful.
Right. So who has access to Mythos right now? I know Fable was generally released and then it was recalled shortly after. But what's the story there? Who can use it?
Right now, based on what they published, no one.
Right.
I'm sure there's some limited access somewhere, but like you said, Mythos was released. It was never intended to be released as is. So Fable was basically like a guardrailed Mythos, where they had a very, I suppose, sensitive trigger on if you seem to be asking security questions, we're going to basically drop you back to Opus.
Okay.
But at the moment, best we know, no one has access at this point.
Okay. And who are the end users for this? So if you're a security professional watching this, how should you prepare for this? And how do you prepare for this?
So I think there's a couple of things, right? So there are tools already out there that are looking for vulnerabilities, checking your package, levels, all that. Use them. If it's one thing to worry about the things that are not known, we should make sure that we've at least patched known issues. Those are the easy ones. And then even if you look at the Anthropic documentation, it's not that Mythos necessarily is night and day different, say, from Opus. Opus has been capable of finding some of these things. It might not just do them as quickly or as in depth. So still use those tools. Think about how you could take advantage of those to start looking now, if you will.
Right. Right. And another question, what about the other LLM providers, right? Like OpenAI. Are they going to be there as well? Is there something in the market that's similar to Mythos? Is it just a matter of time? What does that look like?
Yeah, so OpenAI, I don't know all of them, but so OpenAI has Cyber, which is kind of the same, heading in the same direction. They're trying to take on Mythos with that. So yeah, we will see that everyone is going to need to step up to that game. So it's just a matter of time.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Paul. We appreciate your time today, and thank you for watching.
Thank you.